Nitil Vishnu Vishnu Para Shatarashatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnu Para Shatarashatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnu Para Shatarashatashmad Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnu Para Shatarashatashmad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Mahabhagavat Shila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Padadash Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gopal Shah Vrinda ki jai. नाम आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All right, just sharing my screen. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema-pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandra Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Kritam Taipayano Virahaka Tara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Vinedustam Sarva Buddha Hridaya Munimanatosmi. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Shinvatang Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Redantasto Yabadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayeshva Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. Sorry, I'm multitasking. Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshaya Shiptashtakama Kripa Maitam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charana Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. All right, I just took pictures of this whole chapter, all the charts in this chapter while I was doing the plan. And I'm sending them to my computer. I should have done this before. Okay. So Indira Mataji's mentioned that she's going to be a little bit later today, so I thought that gave us a bit of time to do a recap. Shoot, my internet. Uh-oh, it looks like today's going to be a choppy internet day. Anyhow. So, okay, one second. Just need to move this over. I'm moving this onto my second screen. Okay. So this is where we are in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I'm just going to read up to till verse 20. Determined service despite difficulties. This is a recap. As advised by Lord Vishnu, Brahma meditated for 100 celestial years, and thus acquired a transcendental knowledge from within. He then entered into the whirl of the all-expansive lotus, and first divided it into 3 divisions, and later into 14 divisions. So the 3 divisions, he divided it into the, Bhur, Bhu, and Bhuva. So the heavenly regions, the upper regions, then this world, the middle part, and then the hellish planets. And then he divided that into 14 parts. He could thus create the 14 worlds suitable for the habitation of different types of living beings. Brahma first created the 5 features of ignorance, avidya, namely tama, unawareness of one's real spiritual identity as a soul, eternal servant of God. 2, moham, thinking of oneself to be a material body with associated temporary designations. 3, mahamoham, possessiveness towards temporary material objects. Tamishram, anger arising from frustration of material aspirations. And 5, andatamishram, a sense of death for the self. These 5 elements bind the living beings in various miseries. Yet such creation was necessary, as explained further. Lord Krishna is the supreme source, proprietor, enjoyer, controller, and master of all living beings, of all the jivas, who are his tiny parts. Just as a bodily limb is meant to serve the whole body, the living beings are meant to serve the complete whole, Lord Krishna. In such loving service, they enjoy the ultimate bliss of exchanges with Krishna. But some jivas desire to imitate God and try to become independent controllers, masters, proprietors, and enjoyers. This material creation is meant to house such people who are averse to loving and serving God. For them to exercise their foolish desires to enjoy independent of God, they need to be forgetful of their real position as servants of God. Thus, as a matter of necessity, Brahma created the 5 features of ignorance, avidya, to facilitate material enjoyment by spiritual souls averse to God. Brahma wasn't pleased by such misleading creation for the sake of Brahma wasn't pleased by such misleading creation for the sake of rebel souls. Unhappy with his first set of creation, Brahma purified his mind by meditating upon the Lord, and then created the 4 Kumaras as the features of knowledge, vidya. Brahma's responsibility was to enable the birth of souls as embodied beings. So he asked the Kumaras to create progeny, but they refused to do so because they were devoted to Vasudeva, aimed only at liberation, and wished to remain celibates forever. The Kumara's denial made Brahma slightly angry, but he tried to control it. Yet his anger came out from between his eyebrows in the form of a child with a blue and red complexion. Lord Brahma named the child Rudra and designated 11 places for his residence: the heart, the senses, air of life, sky, air, water, fire, earth, sun, moon, and austerity. Austerity, that's an interesting one, huh? Brahma also offered him 11 wives called Rudranis and asked him to create progeny. Rudra then created progeny similar to himself in strength, form, and furious nature. True to their nature, they attempted to devour the universe instead of expanding it. This scared Brahma. Brahma then restricted Rudra and asked him to perform austerity. Rudra agreed and went to the forest. Brahma then created 11 sons from different parts of his own body. This is what we're going to read about right now. They are Narad, Vishishta, Daksha, Bhrigu, Kratu, Pulastya, Angira, Atri, Marichi, Pulaha, and Kardama. Except Narad Muni, all others were engaged in creating progeny and populating the universe. Brahma also, anyways, we're going to read this, so I won't read the summary for what we're just about to read. All right. And thanks for the sweet words, Mitra Vindadidi. Okay. Ata vidyayata sargam. Oh, did I? Sorry. Okay, I did. Okay. Ata vidyayata sargam dashaputra prajagire bhagavat shakti yuktasya loka santana hitava. Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations. Marichiratrangiraso pulastya pulaha kratu brigur vashishta dakshascha dashamas tatra narada. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrigu, Vishishta, Daksha, and the 10th son, Narad, were thus born. Purport. The whole process of the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation is meant to give the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. Brahma created Rudra to help him in his creative endeavor. But from the very beginning, Rudra began to devour the whole creation, and thus he had to be stopped from such devastating activities. Brahma therefore created another set of good children, who were mostly in favor of worldly fruitive activities. He knew very well, however, that without devotional service to the Lord, there is hardly any benefit for the conditioned souls, and therefore he at last created his worthy son Narad, who is the supreme spiritual master of all transcendentalists. Without devotional service to the Lord, one cannot make progress in any department of activity, although the path of devotional service is always independent of anything material. Only the transcendental loving service to the Lord can deliver the real goal of life, and thus the service rendered by Sriman Narad Muni is the highest among all the sons of Brahma. Utsanga narado jagye dakshang ghushtat swayam bhuva pranad vashishta sangjato brigustvachi karat kratu. Narad was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vashishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand. That's neat. Purport. Narad was born from the best deliberation of Brahma, because Narad was able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone he liked. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be realized by any amount of Vedic knowledge or by any number of penances. But a pure devotee of the Lord like Narad can deliver the Supreme Lord by his good will. The very name Narad suggests that he can deliver the Supreme Lord. Narad means the Supreme Lord, and Da means one who can deliver. Oh, I didn't know that. That he can deliver the Supreme Lord does not mean that the Lord is like a commodity that can be delivered to any person. But Narad can deliver to anyone the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a servitor, friend, parent, or lover, as one may desire out of one's own transcendental love for the Lord. In other words, it is Narad only who can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga, the highest mystic means for attainment of the Supreme Lord. Pulaho nabhito jagye pulastya karnayor rishi angira mukhato kshnotrir marichir manaso bhavat. Pulastya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. Dharmasthana dakshinato yatra narayana swayam dharma prishtato yasman mrityur loka bhayankara. Religion was manifested from the breasts of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. Purport. That religion was manifested from the place where the personality of Godhead is personally situated is very significant, because religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as the Bhagavatam. In Bhagavad Gita, the last instruction is to give up all other engagements in the name of religion and take shelter of the personality of Godhead. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam also confirms that the highest perfection of religion is that which leads to the devotional service of the Lord, unmotivated and unhampered by material impediments. Religion in its perfect form is the devotional service of the Lord, and irreligion is just the opposite. The heart is the most important part of the body, whereas the back is the most neglected part. When one is attacked by an enemy, one is apt to endure attacks from the back and protect himself carefully from all attacks on the chest. All types of irreligion spring from the back of Brahma, whereas real religion, the devotional service of the Lord, is generated from the chest, the seat of Narayan. Anything which does not lead to the devotional service of the Lord is irreligion, and anything which leads to the devotional service of the Lord is called religion. Hridi kama prava krodha lobhascha dachadat asyadvak sindhavo medran niriti payarang aghashraya. Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma, anger from between his eyebrows, greed between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, the low and abominable activities from his anus, and the source of all and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins. Purport. A conditioned soul is under the influence of mental speculation. However great one may be in the estimation of mundane education and learning, he cannot be free from the influence of psychic activities. Therefore, it is very difficult to give up lust and the desires for low activities until one is in the line of devotional service to the Lord. When one is frustrated in lust and low desires, anger is generated from the mind and expressed from between the eyebrows. Ordinary men are therefore advised to concentrate the mind by focusing on the place between the eyebrows, whereas the devotees of the Lord are already practiced to place the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the seat of their minds. The theory of becoming desireless is untenable because the mind cannot be made desireless. When it is recommended that one be desireless, it is understood that one should not desire things which are destructive to spiritual values. A devotee of the Lord always has the Lord in his mind, and thus he does not need to be desireless, because all his desires are in relationship with the service of the Lord. The power of speaking is called Saraswati, or the goddess of learning, and the birthplace of the goddess of learning is the mouth of Brahma. Even if a man is endowed with the favor of the goddess of learning, it is quite impossible for his heart to be full of lust and material desire, and his eyebrows to display symptoms of anger. One may be very learned in mundane estimation, but that does not mean that he is free from all low activities of lust and anger. Good qualifications can be expected only from a pure devotee who is always engaged in the thought of the Lord or in samadhi with faith. Chayaya kardamo jage devahutya pati prabhu manaso dehataschedam jage vishvakrito jagat. Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. Purport. Although one of the three modes of material nature is always prominent, they are never represented unalloyed by one another. Even in the most prominent existence of the two lower qualities, the modes of passion and ignorance, there is sometimes a tinge of the mode of goodness. Therefore, all of the sons generated from the body or mind of Brahma were in the modes of passion and ignorance, but some of them, like Kardama, were born in the mode of goodness. Narad was born in the transcendental state of Brahma. Vacham duhitarang tanving swayam pur harating manam akamam chakamekshata sakama itina shrutam. O Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind towards sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Yikes. Okay. Balavan indriya gramo vidvangsam apikarshati Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19, Verse 17. It is said that the senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible, learned man. Therefore, it is advised that one should not indulge in living alone, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. Vidvangsam apikarshati means that even the most learned also become victims of the sensuous urge. Maitreya hesitated to state this anomaly on the part of Brahma, who was sexually inclined to his own daughter. But still he mentioned it, because sometimes it so happens, and the living example is Brahma himself, although he is the primeval living being and the most learned within the whole universe. If Brahma could be a victim of the sexual urge, then what of others who are prone to so many mundane frailties? This extraordinary immortality on the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa, but it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the 4 essential verses of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on the Bhagavatam that he would never be bewildered in any kalpa whatsoever. This indicates that before the hearing of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, he might have fallen a victim to such sensuality, but after hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam directly from the Lord, there is no possibility of such failures. One should, however, take serious note of this incident. The human being is a social animal, and his unrestricted mixing with the fair sex leads to downfall. Such social freedom of man and woman, especially among the younger section, is certainly a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual progress. Material bondage is due only to sexual bondage, and therefore unrestricted association of man and woman is surely a great impediment. Maitreya cited this example on the part of Brahma, just to bring to our notice this great danger. Tamadharme krita matem vilokya pitaram sutta marichi mukyamunayo vishrambhat pratyapodayan. Thus, finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect. The sages like Marichi were not in the wrong in submitting their protests against the acts of their great father. They knew very well that even though their father committed a mistake, there must have been some great purpose behind the show. Otherwise, such a great personality could not have committed such a mistake. It might be that Brahma wanted to warn his subordinates about human frailties in their dealings with women. This is actually very dangerous for persons who are on the path of self-realization. Therefore, great personalities like Brahma, even when in the wrong, should not be neglected, nor could the great sages headed by Marichi show any disrespect because of his extraordinary behavior. Naitat purvai kritam tvadye na karishyanti cha pare yastam duhitaram gache anigrahyangajam prabhu. O Father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpas, nor will anyone dare to attempt it in the future. You are the supreme being in the universe, so how is it that you want to have sex with your daughter and cannot control your desire? Purport. The post of Brahma is the supermost post in the universe, and it appears that there are many Brahmas and many universes besides the one in which we are situated. One who fills this post must be ideal in behavior, for Brahma sets the example for all living entities. Brahma, the living entity who is the most pious and spiritually elevated, is entrusted with a post next to that of the personality of Godhead. Tejiyasam api hyetan na sushlokyam jagarguru yadvritam anutishtan vai lokakshemaya kalpate. Even though you are the most powerful being, this act does not suit you because your character is followed for spiritual improvement by people in general. Purport. It is said that a supremely powerful living entity can do anything and everything he likes, and such acts do not affect him in any way. For example, the sun, the most powerful fiery planet in the universe, can evaporate water from anywhere and still remain as powerful. The sun evaporates water from filthy places, and yet is not infected with the quality of the filth. Similarly, Brahma remains unimpeachable in all conditions. But still, since he is the spiritual master of all living entities, his behavior and character should be so ideal that people will follow such sublime behavior and derive the highest spiritual benefit. Therefore, he should not have acted as he did. Haribol Manmohini Didi, thanks for the sweet words. Okay. Tasmai namo bhagavate yadidang svenarochisha atmastam vyanjayamasa sadharmang patamarhati. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who, by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness. Purport. Lust for sexual intercourse is so strong that it appears herein that Brahma could not be dissuaded from his determination in spite of the appeal of his great sons like Marichi. Therefore, the great sons began to pray to the Supreme Lord for the good sense of Brahma. It is only by the grace of the Supreme Lord that one can be protected from the allurement of lusty material desires. The Lord gives protection to devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental loving service, and by his causeless mercy, he forgives the accidental fall of a devotee. Therefore, sages like Marichi prayed for the mercy of the Lord, and their prayer was fruitful. Sa itam grinata putran purodrishtva prajapatin Prajapati patistan van tatyaja vriditastada tam disha jagrihur goram niharam yadvidustama. The father of all Prajapatis, Brahma, thus seeing his all Prajapati sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed, and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later, that body appeared in all directions as the dangerous fog in darkness. Whoa. Purport. The best way to compensate for one's sinful acts is to give up one's body at once. And Brahma, the leader of the living entities, showed this by his personal example. Brahma has a fabulous duration of life, but he was obliged to give up his body due to his grievous sin, even though he had merely contemplated it in his mind without having actually done it. This is a lesson for the living entities, showing how sinful an act it is to indulge in unrestricted sex life. Even to think of abominable sex life is sinful, and to compensate for such acts, one has to give up his body. In other words, one's duration of life, blessings, opulence, etc., are decreased by sinful acts, and the most dangerous type of sinful act is unrestricted sex. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, or sinful life is the cause of gross ignorance. The feature of ignorance is darkness or fog. Darkness or fog still covers the whole universe, and the sun is the only counteracting principle. One who takes shelter of the Lord, the perpetual light, has no fear of being annihilated in the darkness of fog or ignorance. All right, so I'm going to continue reading, but this is, we still have another 15 minutes. But now we're going to be, actually, let me just read this first and then I'll show you. Kadachir dhyayata shashturveda asanshchaturmukat katam srakshyamyaham lokan samavetanyata pura. Once upon a time, when Brahma was thinking how to create the worlds as in the past millennium, the four Vedas, which contain all varieties of knowledge, became manifested from his four mouths. Purport: as a fire can consume anything and everything without being contaminated, so, by the grace of the Lord, the fire of Brahma's greatness consumed his desire for the sinful act of sex with his daughter. The Vedas are the source of all knowledge, and they were first revealed to Brahma by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead while Brahma was thinking of recreating the material world. Brahma is powerful by dint of his devotional service unto the Lord, and the Lord is always ready to forgive his devotee if by chance he falls down from the noble path of devotional service. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.542 confirms this as follows. Sapadamulam bhajata priyasya tyaktva hari paresha vikarma yachot patitam katanchit dhunoti sarvam hridisam nivishta. Any person who is engaged 100% in the transcendental loving service of the Lord at his lotus feet is very dear to the personality of Godhead Hari, and the Lord, being situated in the heart of the devotee, excuses all kinds of sins committed by chance. It was never expected that a great personality like Brahma would ever think of sex indulgence with his daughter. The example shown by Brahma only suggests that the power of material nature is so strong that it can act upon everyone, even Brahma. Brahma was saved by the mercy of the Lord with a little punishment. But by the grace of the Lord, he did not lose his prestige as the great Brahma. One second, I just want to check. So I printed, I just took a picture of this. How come oh, it's right there. Sorry, it's on my other screen. Okay, this is a summary of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Dang it. Which one are we? Open up. Okay. Why is my computer going so slow? Okay, this is it. 82. 82, 83. Okay. So, what we're reading now is the four Vedas, the guide to Brahma and creation, and Chaturhotram. And then we're going to read the Upavedas, the supplementary Vedas, the Pancham Veda. So that's up to 39. And then Karma Tantram, sacrificial acts. Okay, so let's first try to make it to 39. And then if there's time, then we'll continue reading to about this, the 4 legs of Dharma, 4 ashrams and their vrittis. Okay. Chaturhotram karma tantram upavedanayai saha dharmasya padaschatvaras tatayavashrama vrittaya. The 4 kinds of paraphernalia for conducting the fire sacrifice became manifest. The performer, the chanter, the offerer, the fire, and the action performed in terms of the supplementary Vedas. Also, the 4 principles of religiosity, truth, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness, and the duties in the 4 social orders all became manifest. Purport. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating are the 4 principles of material bodily demands, which are common to both the animals and human society. To distinguish human society from the animals, there is the performance of religious activities in terms of the social statuses and orders of life. They are all clearly mentioned in the Vedic literatures and were manifested by Brahma when the 4 Vedas were generated from his 4 mouths. Thus, the duties of humankind in terms of the statuses and social orders were established to be observed by the civilized man. Those who traditionally follow these principles are called Aryans, or progressive human beings. Vidura uvacha Savai Vishva Srijam Isho Vedadin Mukhato Srijat Yadyadina Srijat Devas Tanme Bruhi Tapodhana. Vidura said, O great sage, whose only wealth is penance, kindly explain to me how and with whose help Brahma established the Vedic knowledge which emanated from his mouth. Maitreya uvacha Rigyajus samatarvakyan Vedan purvadibir mukai Shastram ijam stutistomam Prayashchitam vyadat kramat. Maitreya said, beginning from the front face of Brahma, gradually the 4 Vedas, the Rik, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, became manifest. Thereafter, Vedic hymns which had not been pronounced before, priestly rituals, the subject matters of the recitation, and transcendental activities were all established one after another. Ayurvedam Dhunurvedam Gandharvam Vedam Atmana Stapatyam Chasrijar Vedam Kramat Purvadibir Mukai. He also created the medical science, the military art, musical art, and architectural science, from which all from the Vedas. Medical science, military art, musical art, and architectural science. They all emanated from one and after another, beginning from the front face. Purport. The Vedas contain perfect knowledge, which includes all kinds of knowledge for the human society, not only of this particular planet, but on other planets as well. It is understood that military art is also necessary knowledge for the upkeep of social order, as is the art of music. All these groups of knowledge are called the Upapurana, or supplements of the Vedas. Spiritual knowledge is the main topic of the Vedas, but to help the human being's spiritual pursuit of knowledge, the other information, as above mentioned, forms necessary branches of the Vedic knowledge. Itihasa Puranani Panchamang Vedamishvara Sarvebhya Eva Vaktrebhya Sasrije Sarvadarshana. Then he created the 5th Veda, the Puranas and the histories, from all his mouths, since he could see all the past, present, and future. Purport. There are histories of particular countries and nations of the world and of the world, but the Puranas are the histories of the universe, not only in one millennium, but in many kalpas. Brahma has knowledge of those historical facts, and therefore all the Puranas are histories. As originally composed by Brahma, they are part of the Vedas and are called the fifth Veda. Sodashyuto purvas bhaktrat purishangni stutavata aptoryama tiratrocha vajapeyam sagosavam. All the different varieties of fire sacrifices, Sodashi, Ukta, Purishi, Agnishtoma, Aptoryama, Atiratra, Vajapeya, and Gosava, became manifest from the eastern mouth of Brahma. Okay, so the four legs of, Vidyadanam tapasatyam dharmasyeti padani cha ashramangscha yata sankyam asrijat saha vrittivi. Education, charity, penance, and truth are said to be the four legs of religion. And to learn this, there are four orders of life with different classifications of castes according to vocation. Brahma created all these in systematic order. Purport. The nucleus of the four social orders, brahmacharya, or student life, grihastha, or household or family life, vanaprastha, or retired life for practicing penance, and sannyas, or renounced life for preaching the truth, is the four legs of religion. The nucleus of the four social orders is the four legs of religion. The vocational divisions are the brahmanas, or the intelligent class. The kshatriyas are administrative class. The vaishyas are mercantile productive class. And the shudras are general laborer class who have no specific qualifications. All were systematically planned and created by Brahma for the regular promotion of self-realization. Student life is meant for acquiring the best education. Household's family life is meant for gratifying the senses, provided it is performed with a charitable disposition of mind. Retirement of householder life is meant for penance, for advancement in spiritual life. And renounced life is meant for preaching the absolute truth to the people in general. The combined actions of all members of society make the whole situation favorable for the upliftment of the mission of life. The beginning of this social institution is based on education meant for purifying the animal propensities of the human being. The highest purificatory process is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the purest of the pure. Savitram prajapatyam cha brahmam chata brihattata varta sanchaya shalina shiloncha iti vaigrihe. Then the thread ceremony for the twice-born was inaugurated, as were the rules to be followed for at least 1 year after acceptance of the Vedas, rules for observing the complete abstination from sex life, vocations in terms of Vedic injunctions, various professional duties in household life, and the method of maintaining a livelihood without anyone's cooperation by picking up rejected grains. Purport. During student life, the brahmacharis were given full instructions about the importance of the human form of life. Thus, the basic education was designed to encourage the student in becoming free from family encumbrances. Only students unable to accept such a vow in life were allowed to go home and marry a suitable wife. Otherwise, the student would remain a permanent brahmachari, observing complete abstinence from sex life for his whole life. It all depended on the quality of the student's training. We had the opportunity to meet an avowed brahmachari in the personality of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Shri Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Goswami Maharaj. Such a great soul is called a Naishtika Brahmachari. Vaikhanasa vala kilo dumbara fenapa vane nyase kuti chaka purvam bhavodo hangsa nishkriyo. The four divisions of retired life are the Vaikhanasas, Valakilyas, Odumbaras, and Fenapas. The four divisions of the renounced order of the life are the Kutichakas, Bhavodas, Hansas, and Nishkriyas. All these were manifested from Brahma. Purport. The Varnashram Dharma are the institution of the four divisions and orders of social and spiritual life is not a new invention of the modern age, as proposed by the less intelligent. It is an institution established by Brahma from the beginning of creation. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, Chaturvarnam Maya Shrishtam. 1 second, it's getting close. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. Let's see, 1 second. A 47, we're at 44. Let's see, are there long purports? Okay, let's just continue reading. Anvikshiki trivarta dandanitisthataiva cha evam vyahritayaschasan pranavo hyasadarata. Yeah, we're almost finished with the chapter, and if we finish the chapter today, then we can just read all about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tomorrow. So I'm just going to continue reading.
It's 8 o'clock.
What happened to my screen? The science of logical argument, the Vedic goals of life, and also law and order, moral codes, and the celebrated hymns Bhu, Bhuva, and Swa, all became manifested from the mouths of Brahma, and the pranava Omkar was manifested from his heart. Tasyo shneg asilo mabhyo gayatri chatvacho vibho trishto mangsat shnuto nushtu jagatastana prajapate. My God, that was a hard one. Thereafter, the art of literary expression, Ushnik, was generated from the hairs on the body of the almighty Prajapati. The principal Vedic hymn, Gayatri, was generated from the skin, Trishtup from the flesh, Anushtup from the veins, and Jagati from the bones of the Lord of the living entities. Whoa, that is so cool. Sorry. Trishtup, Anushtup, and Jagati are three kinds of meter. Anushtup is like this verse that we're singing, da 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 da. Trishtup, that is Anushtup. And Trishtup, what is Trishtup? Anyways, it's just because I was learning about the meters before, and these were the meters. Majaya panktirutpanna brihate pranato bhavat. The art of writing verse, pankti, became manifested from the bone marrow, and that of brihati, another type of verse, was generated from the life breath of the Lord of the living entities. Sparshastasya bhavajiva svara deha udahrita ushmanam indriyanyahur antasta balamatmana swara sapta viharena bhavanti sma prajapate. Brahma's soul was manifested as the touch alphabets, his body as the vowels, his senses as the sibilant alphabets, his strength as the intermediate alphabets, and essential activities as the 7 notes of music. Purport. In Sanskrit, there are 13 vowels and 35 consonants. The vowels are a, I, u, ri, li, a, I, o, and the consonants are ka, ga, etc. Among the consonants, the first 25 letters are called the sparshas. There are also 4 antastas. Of the ushmas, there are 3 sas, called talavya, murdhanya, and dantya. That's sa, sha, sha. Sa, sha, sha. The musical notes are sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. All these sound vibrations are originally called Shabda Brahma, or spiritual sound. It is said, therefore, that Brahma was created in the Mahakalpa as the incarnation of spiritual sound. The Vedas are spiritual sound, and therefore there is no need of material interpretation as they are, although they are symbolically represented with letters which are known to us materially. In the ultimate issue, there is nothing material because everything has its origin in the spiritual world. The material manifestation is therefore called illusion in the proper sense of the term. For those who are realized souls, there is nothing but spirit. How much? Okay, there's still a bit more. So I'm going to stop here. That was a fun place to stop anyways. I thought it was, yeah. We'll finish this up tomorrow. Since there isn't so much left, we'll finish this up tomorrow and then read about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. All right. Where did we make it up to? Anyhow, okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Oh, and Dira Mataji, it's missing half line, verse 47. Thanks for mentioning that to me. Okay. That would be terrible if we just read all of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam except for 2 lines. I'll just quickly read that. Thanks for pointing that out. 47. Okay, got it. Oops, wrong chapter. Dang it. Chapter 12. Sorry, guys. 47. Okay. Oh, is it? I don't think it is missing half a line. I mean, at least in my book, it's also 6 lines. Okay. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj. Oh, just in the purport. Oh, okay. Anyhow, that's too bad. Jai Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitilapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtara Shatashmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Vishnu Mahabhagavat Srila Gopsharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Vishnu Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitya Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugarya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadashagna Sharada Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nama Jai Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Bharata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radhakund Shamakund ki jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsidevai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Alright, so see you tomorrow for a short reading. We're almost at the very end of the chapter, and then we'll read about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Alright, Hari Bol. What's Indira? Wait, somebody's saying something. Okay, Hari Bol. Dandavad Pranam Indira Mataji.